So we want to start out a little bit domestically. I know a lot of stuff's been happening with Tesla, especially with, did you know apparently some of the stuff that Elon Musk is doing is controversial?
Elon Musk, a controversial figure? I've never considered it that way, Josh.
Well, so apparently people are protesting, and like this gentleman right here in this first video, I just think it's absolutely nuts. Like this man decides to, well, I mean, I'll let the video speak for itself. I know you can see the video. Like this man's carving a freaking swastika in this man's Tesla. And keep in mind, never met the guy, doesn't know him, never even seen his car before, just sees it's a man driving a Tesla and just decides, I'm gonna carve a swastika in the door.
Well, we'll see. Let's watch the video, and we'll see if this could be considered protesting.
All right, well, let's watch. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. He's getting out of his car, being real sneaky. Oh, and oh yeah, he's dragging a key. So now keep in mind, focus, that is a key for sure. Although he drew that pretty quickly.
Give you some free service.
Free service? How about you pay for the repairs?
Okay, what could possibly... Well, he said it was a free service. This man just keyed a swastika in his Tesla.
I think he was trying to make an offer like, oh, I'll give you this type of service. But this is in fact, what we're to understand, this is in fact the guy.
Here, let's full screen it so we really appreciate the excuses.
Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off with a towel.
No,
it's not a key.
It is a hate crime, sir. It is a hate crime. Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
It didn't even work, apparently.
Notice how he's not even saying, I'm sorry I damaged your car. He's saying, I'm sorry you're upset. Is that it?
That sounds like typical behavior from the caliber of person this gentleman seems to be.
It just seems like someone that's not ever really been held accountable.
Yeah. We'll see. Let's see what else he has
I'm
to say.
sorry you're upset after I keyed your car.
He may make up for it. He may make up for it.
Who says that? I'm sorry you're upset.
I know, Joshua, but let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance.
It's a key, sir. We see it on the video.
It's not a key.
Is it a swastika?
I was probably putting my keys in my pocket.
Is it a swastika?
Have you looked at your car? Is there a key mark?
Is it a swastika? It's at the police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down.
Yeah.
So you're
okay. Pause on that because I do love that the internet was better at figuring out who this guy was than the police.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly it's I think their main priority is the more extreme forms of vandalism, which we will touch on later. But this guy seems to be
well, I get that, there are definitely I know we'll touch on the fire bombings a little bit later. A little spoiler there, but not too much. But that is straight vandalism. This is vandalism with an added hate crime. Because not only have you vandalized their property, but you've drawn a symbol associated with hate that is now permanently engraved in that door.
That's true. But the consideration you have to make is usually that symbolism used as a hate crime is done with hate towards, it's done with intention in support of the ideals that the swastika resembles. But this seems to be like a flipping of the tables, You
think he's trying to label him a Nazi?
I believe that's what he's going for. Now, whether or not functionally that's what's happening.
Now, let me put that in the terms of if we were to trade a swastika for the N-word and it was just a random black person, that would be a hate crime. So, if you're labeling someone by destroying their property and putting an offensive symbol or word and carving it into the paint of their vehicle, I think you kind of lost the message a little bit.
It does depend on the context, because if they were to take it to court, it's like this guy does not appear.
I mean, he's getting his 15
in
minutes
almost
of
any
fame,
way,
though.
shape, or form. Let me finish. He does not appear in any way, shape, or form to be your typical Nazi enthusiast or white power.
What are you talking about? Look at this man. Look, if you just put a stash right there, that's Adolf Hitler.
How do you know his sexual orientation? Are you assuming this man's preferences? Maybe you'd know a little more if we finished hearing what he had to say.
Let's see. We're at 50 or 40 something seconds there, but I mean, just look at how he does this. Does that look like look at his posture?
Are you insinuating that
I don't see this man
being in love with a woman and starting a family?
Is there a key mark?
Is it a swastika? It's at the police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down. So your business, your freaking livelihood, everything now because you chose to write so to tell Facebook that you're sorry for writing a swastika on a Tesla.
Listen, I said I'm sorry.
For what?
And I apologize.
For what?
I have nothing against your car, and I have nothing against you.
So why would you write a swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the
so
way
Elon
to show
Musk owns that car because
No,
it was
he
bought
owns
and
the
paid
company.
for. It was bought and paid for a long time
That's
ago.
why it's misguided, and obviously, I did not intend to do this.
Misguided, he says.
Yeah, apparently that was misguided, guys. You know,
Although, listen, what he said was probably what you should say if you do something like that. Like, oh, well, that was a misguided thing on my part. I think we have a classic case of not sorry because he did it, but instead sorry because he got caught doing it.
Yeah, like and I think the number one, and I remember I paused it during the video to say that he didn't say, I'm sorry I destroyed your car. He said, I'm sorry you're upset about it.
Yeah. It's a very, what's the word?
That just
he's
tells
projecting responsibility from
he's
himself.
saying, I'm not sorry I keyed your car. I'm sorry you caught me. That's literally what in my mind, that's what he's saying. I'm not sorry I keyed your car. I'm sorry you're upset because you caught me keying your car on video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'd be curious to know what the follow up on that was, if the police have got him yet. Because I mean, as we said earlier, that is most certainly at minimum criminal vandalism. Like,
I mean, it's a hate crime and criminal vandalism at minimum. But you know, you do also, like, we're talking, you know, when we talk about this one, which is man charged in Tesla firebomb attack, denies trying to run from feds. Like, I don't know why he would deny that. I mean, if you firebomb someone, I would kind of expect you to run, you know, especially if you didn't want to get caught, you know. But I mean, this is kind of like the escalation of it. So you have some people that would see, you know, someone drawing a swastika into someone's car and be like, oh, okay, you know, I see he got caught. I see he's facing consequences. At the very least, you know, he's going to be held accountable to repair that man's Tesla. When he has it on video, and now he has the man's name and address, and apparently he said he has a business too. Like, you know, the police are fingerprinting him. So he did also say the police are fingerprinting him because they were looking for him. He just found him first. So now I assume he's probably going to be in conjunction with the police. Like, look, I found the guy. I have him on video admitting to it. Like, I have a confession on video. And it'd probably be a pretty simple process of him getting charged with it. Probably a misdemeanor. I mean, I don't think I don't think they'd charge him with felony assault on this. I mean, I could see it as probably he'll get charged with 1 or 2 misdemeanors, probably face a fine, and then I see the other guy. The other thing would be it would be a civil matter, so it would get handled in civil court whether or not he repairs his Tesla or not.
Yeah, well, and you gotta, I mean, with the absolute mountain of evidence that is against him, I mean, they've got the Sentry Mode footage from the Tesla. They've got this dude on camera admitting to what all he would know is a stranger. It shows how smart this guy really is. He literally admits to the crime, and yeah, all that is more or less.
To be fair, you know, you do have the right to remain silent while talking to the police and also while talking to other people. But when you're literally talking to the owner of a guy's car who you vandalized the day before, you kind of give up a certain bit of that.
Yeah. Well, and they'll probably, and with that mountain of evidence, they'll probably offer him, like on the criminal side, they'll offer him a plea deal of some kind.
Because let's just be realistic about this. If there weren't cameras and he was still able to figure out who carved a swastika in his car, I would expect that man got his ass beat back in the day. For keying a car and getting caught with it. Like, now that being said, before cameras
back in the day didn't have a 24/7 ability to take footage.
Yeah, I'm saying you would literally have to catch him in the act. But I'm saying if you caught that man in the act of keying your car back in the day, he probably would have got an ass beaten instead of an ass chewing and getting sued.
Maybe today, depending on whose car it was.